In this week's Parsha VaEra, Moshe again expresses his doubts to God that he will be a worthy messenger to deliver God's message to Paro. Behold, I am of uncircumcised lips, and how will Paro listen to me? In reassuring Moshe, God tells him, See, I have set you as a god to Paro, and Aaron, your brother, will be your prophet. What position exactly did God appoint Moshe to be if he is going to be, quote, a god to Paro? The word that God used to describe Moshe's new standing was Elohim. That word can have either a mundane meaning or a divine definition. While we usually use it to refer to a deity or to God himself, it can also have a non-spiritual connotation, a judge. As an aside, is this association with judging that God is usually referred to as Elohim, whether he is the divine judge or his attribute of justice, or that he is the one who makes unbreakable rules, such as the laws of nature. Rashi accordingly understood that God's appointment of Moshe was more mundane than divine. God was preparing to take Israel out of Egypt and was going to bring about the 10 plagues. As such, God needed to warn and announce each plague to Paro and his court. In this vein, Rashi understood that God was appointing Moshe to be a judge and deliverer of judgment to Paro, and by extension to all of Egypt. On the other hand, most commentators and midrashim understand the word Elohim to have a divine connotation. God was going to make Moshe into a god in Paro's eyes. What would be the purpose for doing so? From Tanakh, backed up by archaeology, we see that Paro had established himself as a god of Egypt. It took a lot of nerve to elevate himself so over others, and then to have the gall to question the credentials of God and his emissaries, Moshe and Aaron, as he did towards the end of last week's Parsha. To teach Paro a lesson, God was going to lower him down a few notches. The Midrash states that to help Moshe accomplish this task, God elevated Moshe to be on a level even higher than Paro, as a regular person is in relation to a god. This would help Moshe implement God's mission to humble Paro and teach him humility. Other commentators, such as the Netziv and Rav David Tzvi Hoffman, see in God's statement to Moshe an elevation for a different purpose. As God and ruler of Egypt, Paro did not talk directly to people of a lower station than himself. It was God's intention to ensure that Moshe could approach Paro and deal with him as an equal. As such, God elevated Moshe's status in Paro's eyes to be his equal, a God who could come and contend with Paro without fear for his life. All of these approaches are not mutually exclusive of the other. Each approach is just another piece of the puzzle, and taken together would help us build a more complete understanding of what God was planning to do, especially as God's plan to redeem and extract Israel from Egypt was multi-layered and multi-purposed. As such, God's appointment of Moshe to be, quote, a god to Paro would make Moshe into the perfect instrument to accomplish all that he wanted to do. Shabbat Shalom.